Stranded at sea, but surrounded by land. Boy, what I wouldn't give for some real food. Maybe some lamb. What an exciting voyage this has turned out to be. But our ship is stuck in the ice. Nothing but white as far as the eye can see. With no hope in sight, the ship stuck in ice, we heard a crackling noise that gave us a fright. In our beds we stayed, waiting for the sun to defeat the night. At sunrise we arose, curious and cold, looking for what made us jump. A small crack we found in front. We hit a small bird, or maybe a stump. Crack! There it was again. The noise that kept us awake last night rang out across the frozen wasteland. The crew was silent till someone shouted, "The crack is bigger! Captain, come look! Hurry, come hither! It's grown to half an inch. Surely now we must be in a pinch." "No bother," said the captain. "Our ship is well built." As he continued his speech, we felt the ship begin to tilt. "It's time," exclaimed the captain. "We must leave the ship. Bring only what's necessary. Blubber, tobacco, bacon." We unloaded the ship, quick as a whip, and just as we finished, the ship began to tip. Its bow shot to the sky. Some say it was nearly 20 feet high. We all watched in fear as the ship disappeared. Not a few months later, no one would have known that a mighty ship once docked here. We were stranded in an Arctic wasteland. Our only hope was Shackleton, and we looked to him like puppies hoping he had a plan. Land ho! There it is! It's a sight to behold. Off in the distance, I can see the land, a sight to warm the soul after months of suffering, wet and cold. For a second they were filled with joy. Hugs and handshakes spread across the ice. Men fell to their knees, crying in happiness, praising the name, Jesus Christ. The victory was short-lived, as moving across the ice was nearly impossible. We must sit and wait for the ice to melt. This strategy is more probable. Asleep in the tents, we feel the ground shift up and down and wait for the fateful time when the ice cracks under our feet and we must react in record time. 2 nights in a row, while asleep in the tents, the ice cracked. We heard the noise and prayed the ice wouldn't turn us into fossils and artifacts. The first night was not so bad. No one fell through. We used a rope to bridge the gap. The second time we were not so lucky. One of us fell through asleep in a sack. The man was wet and cold, but made no complaints, except that his tobacco was lost in the abyss below. The captain advised the ice was no longer safe, and from now on we will sleep on the boats, just in case. Land was still visible when the fog clears, but we've been paddling for years. We pray the coast is near. Time after time we changed our course, but the currents dragged us around like a coach behind a horse. We trust in Shackleton to lead us to safety, but even our fearless leader started to lose his bravery. The men are frostbitten, covered with saltwater boils, and some are stuck in the early stages of gangrene. Still in the boats paddling towards a massive rock known as Elephant Island. 50-mile-an-hour winds and rain isn't helping, and the crew certainly feels like crying. There's little food and nothing to drink. All they were given were some biscuits to eat. Dying of thirst, the crew began to chew on raw seal meat to drink the blood of the beast. If the crew could sleep, I'm sure they would dream of steak and potatoes, a sailor's feast. But it's been over 80 hours stranded in the boats, paddling and freezing in lack of sleep. They are so sleep-deprived, one even fell asleep at the front of the boat, still paddling and pushing. His body shut down, and his snores began to bellow from his throat. They shivered through another night, bobbing in the waves, the rain and the sleet. And in the morning, while untying the anchor, a wave rolled through and pushed the bow of the boat up into one man's teeth. Frustrated, bleeding, and missing teeth, the angry sailor cut the anchor and watched it sink into the deep. Morale was low, but the men feared another night in the boat, so they began to paddle. They grabbed the oars. They were covered in ice, and they slipped and disappeared into the sea with a heart-wrenching rattle. The boats were split apart last night, and with the morning sun, their eyes met on the horizon. The boats they assumed were lost in the sea sat clear as day like they were led by Poseidon. With no easy place to beach the boat, Three boats suffered the night in the shallows. Little did they know their misfortune kept them together and out of the shadows. Together they found a beach, and they crashed into the island and were filled with a sense of security. The stowaway was urged to step out first, but he didn't move. He just stared at Shackleton fearfully. When the boy was ordered, "Go ashore," he simply replied, "I can't." Filled with fury, the captain asked him, "Why not?" And the boy answered slowly, "The gangrene, my feet are lost." The captain felt shame and remorse. The night before, the boy couldn't even move. Shackleton forgot. To make matters worse, the first day on the island, another crew member had a heart attack. Even if the frostbite and gangrene weren't enough, the next morning they were saddened to hear they must return to the sea. High tide will bring large waves, and all the men will be drowned in their sleep.